Poverty and shelter, my solution. What is it and why is it important? I would like to acknowledge that with this submission and future meetings are being held on the traditional land of the Kuri, Guri, and Mari people, and I would like to pay my respects to tribal elders both past and present. How can our civilization and the aging and poverty-stricken Indigenous Australians can be offered the assistance through affordable and low-cost housing be achievable in solving the issues of poverty in Australia? Submitting a master plan proposal is a start to convey and solve their own source of solidarity and awareness in the oldest culture known, thus producing awareness locally and internationally to solve this issue. The Master Plan. Menindee, New South Wales is 110 kilometers northwest of Broken Hill and was chosen as an initial pilot location to kickstart for an affordable housing proposal for the Mardi Paki Assembly and their 16 Aboriginal members and their families. Their culture relied on the long stretch of Darling River for food and water. They use canoes and build elaborate stone traps to catch fish as their main meal. Their history and places that evolves around their lives and play are given great consideration in this submission. The natural, environmental, and human aspects are crucial information for the compilation of my data. The vast vacant space filling it with new structures and the relationship with the context of natural environment, streetscape, townscape, and existing buildings form considered on high level of cultural and environmental characteristics. Connecting the dots. Analysis on public concentration, integration, and points of attractions. The natural environment and human objects related to this urban and natural environment was a crucial factor for me. Putting in new forms, analyzing the relationship with the context of natural surrounding, given first priority and the high level of its cultural and environmental characteristics. Symbolism and respect to the heritage site was also given consideration and was woven into the urban fabric and culture of the land. Analysis on public spaces and concentration, integration and in education with arts and some points of attraction was given deep thoughts, as you can see from the zoning of this area. It has green and solar roof, community center for the arts to pass on information and history, rainwater harvesting for recycling with storm water planters, wetlands, parks and wildlife. Also a full walking and bike track, all connected and goes full circle for a healthier lifestyle and public space. Checking and doing research on its state and environmental planning policy is also considered to abide by the laws, process and procedure within borders and context of the state, design quality of residential apartments and dwellings development. Design schedules and the quality principles must be met, and with careful consideration to Principle 4, which is sustainability, Principle 5 for landscape, and Principle 8 for housing diversity and social interaction, thus producing a good Bible to reflect in order to balance and design aesthetics for the submission. The first two pictures for a study for mass design process by seasonal wind and solar, the phasing and location to maximize the solar potential for ultimate power energy acquisition. The next two pictures for the potential vegetable and green planting and water catchments and storage designed for sustainable and water recycling process. Next is the diagram for our energy strategy approach, which I draw by hand with the initial process of studying our primary energy sources such as on polluted air, cloud and rain, sunlight, wind, and natural human waste. I am proposing next stage in energy acquisition proposal is the using of solar panels, windmills, natural forestry, and planting more trees, and also looking at our natural landfill. Then for the third step is energy production of storing and using state-of-the-art new generators and power devices like for home electricity storage, with machineries and plants set up for the extraction of methane from human waste to produce as gas. to the fourth step of having secondary energy so that we will have a constant supply as shown for our shelter. And on your right, you can see the exploded view of the materiality and below a rendered sample if it was placed along the river banks of the Darling River for visualization. Materiality. Upper left is the sample recycled woods and timber framing for the structure, and also the OSB boards, meaning oriented strand boards and particle boards for proposal. It is an Eco 100% FSC engineered wood product formed by layering strands of recycled woods in specific orientations. Upper right are samples and setup for our solar panels and solar system, generators and batteries. The left lower are samples for portable water container and catchment, flood drainage and collection spouts for water storage and setup. And on your lower right are our portable toilets set up for human waste recycling to produce methane. And on your base is actually a proposal for the base structure has wood, recycled plastics, and wood pallets for the base of the house. For the next slide, as you can see, the initial perspectives rendering along the Darling River as proposed for construction, and the rendered sample photograph of our full-scale shelter in 1:40 scale on the picture board and also presented in front of you. Upper right-hand corner is the sample picture rendered to sample the actual location and facing of the shelter constructed along the river banks of our Darling River, in which the Aboriginal families work for main source of food and water, and also to maximize all the natural features such as solar and wind. Community Center. As discussed from the early stage of planning, that the community center be given special consideration in the planning because in the Murky Paki Assembly, they have a very active and healthy community and outback theater for the young Aboriginal members. In partnership with Trax and West Darling Arts since 2009, it serves as a good platform in injecting diversity and creative opportunities, and they need performance space. This is good in a way because it connects all members via performing arts that strengthen their culture and share and pass down their histories and stories. And they have puppetry, acting, dance, live music, and video. It raises cross-cultural awareness that develops skills of participating performers not just for the Aboriginal community but expanded to having now Afghan and Sudanese refugees. Budget analysis and proposal. After careful consultations to the members of the Australian Institute of Architects, Master Builders Association, and the Housing Industry Australia, I was able to get information on the budget and cost to produce the shelter proposal. Breakdown are as follows on screen and written on the report, with the scope of services broken down in process from preliminaries to final footing and substructure and final shelter assembly. The estimated cost to construct the individual shelter based on materiality is around 45,000 Australian dollars per unit. In conclusion, the careful consideration to the respect and rights of our Indigenous Australian and that need to change and their broader cultural and ecological design factors studied, plus the inclusion of serious employment and usage of more sustainable strategy. This is for the good of professional and academic aspects of design in general, and a necessity to enhance ecological designs within a creative discourse, and devise design and strategies as well into now and future practices. Thank you very much for your attention and have a good night.